I'm in the car with my son, Demetric. Say hey, Demetric.
Hi.
And we are on our way to football practice. And I'm doing a video because my baby spends a lot of time with me. And his mommy is always doing something. And so I wanted to kind of let you all see me from his eyes. So, Metro, can you tell the people, what does mommy do?
Well, mostly when Mom sleeps, eats ice and carrots. She does her coaching meetings, and she takes care of me.
Alright, so y'all heard him. His mommy sleeps, eats ice, eats carrots. She does her coaching calls, and I take care of him. Now, Metro, where does mommy spend most of her day? What do I do during most of my day?
At work.
Okay, but when I asked you what did mommy do, you didn't say anything about that. What do I do at work? Who am I?
You are a counselor at
You don't have to tell him to school. But I'm a school counselor. But when I initially asked my son what I do, y'all heard coaching calls. So he sees what takes precedence in my life. And when I ask him what I do, he says more about my dream than my demand. I have to take care of him. You heard him. And so while I build my dream, while I attract to me the finances that I need to come to me through coaching, I am a school counselor. But my child sees that his mommy does coaching calls. How do you feel about the coaching calls that mommy does when you hear mommy talking?
It's pretty inspirational. You do a good job when you talk. And I think you should do this more whenever you get home.
He said it's pretty inspirational. He enjoys when I talk. And he feels I should do it more when I get home. All right. So, Metro, what do you want to be when you grow up? An astronaut. And is mommy going to do everything in her power to make sure that happens for you?
Well, it's not my choice. It's your choice. But if you want to, you can.
If I want to, I can. Do you think that I will? If it's something that you want?
Yes.
Yes, I will. So, what makes you want to be an astronaut?
Well, really, I've actually wanted to be a ninja, but I've actually wanted to be an astronaut because I want to see what the moon is made of.
Because you want to go see what the moon is made of. All right. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So, what is it that you see mommy do that you feel will be necessary for you to do in order to become an astronaut?
Take chances.
Take chances. Did you hear my baby? My baby said take chances. Listen, adults. Listen, comfortable people. Listen, people that push your children to be doctors, lawyers, nurses, or teachers because you don't know an astronaut. My baby said, take chances. And he learned that from watching his mommy. You can plant better. You can dominate. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello everyone and welcome to Plant Better University. If this is your first time joining us, welcome and thank you for choosing us to pour into you. If you are a returning customer, a recurring customer, thank you for allowing us to continually pour into you, continually enhance your life, and thank you for being a part of our community. We are here, we are thriving, we're growing, all because of you. My name is Tempest. I am one of the owners of ATS JR companies, And again, welcome and thank you for being here. I want to talk to you about 3 things I wish I knew when I was 20 or in my 20s. I'm now in the 30 club, and now that I'm older, I'm a little wiser, and I've gone through some things, just some reflections about what I wish I knew, what I wish I would have listened to when I was in my 20s. And maybe you're older, maybe you're younger, but I feel like it's something that we all can learn and all grow from. So the first thing I wish I knew, wish I told myself, wish I understood that I was enough. I am enough. I don't think I really understood that until 29, and very late 29. If I knew that I was enough in my 20s, I could have avoided a lot of situations. I could have avoided painful relationships, painful friendships. I could have avoided not being in certain situations. So I am enough. What does that mean? That means I alone am enough. I don't have to depend on someone to make me whole. I don't have to wait until I'm earning a certain amount of money in order to feel worthy. I don't have to worry about, or I don't have to have a certain degree by a certain year, or a certain level of degree by a certain age. I don't have to keep up with the Joneses. I don't have to have a economic status of whatever in order to feel worthy, in order to feel valued, in order to feel like I deserve or I should be here. I alone am enough. And I say I finally grasped that at 29, but it was being poured into me like 23, 24. I just didn't feel like that made sense to me. I felt like other people were enough, but I never felt that I was enough, I don't have a college degree, so I felt less than my peers. I don't have the amount of money in my bank accounts that I wanted to have by a certain age, so I felt unworthy with that. So that was another chunk of the pie, so to speak, missing. I didn't have the kind of job I wanted because I didn't have the degrees I wanted, so I felt like I was behind. I wasn't married, I didn't have kids, I wasn't driving the car that I wanted, or the type of car that I wanted. I didn't know the type of people that I wanted to know, and it caused me to feel less than. It caused me to, unfortunately, seek out a relationship that wasn't worthy of me. And that relationship really taught me just how low my self-esteem was. Looking back on it now, I was a scared little girl trying to be in a adult relationship and change somebody. And maybe I should add that to my list of things, but you can't change people. And when you don't feel like you're enough, you kind of take on projects, so to speak. You take on projects and disguise that and get so caught up and wrapped up in that you don't focus on yourself. So I took my emptiness and pulled someone else to fill that void, and that someone else ended up hurting me. That someone else ended up really hurting me very badly, and I still didn't feel like I was enough. So it took leaving that relationship, and it took reading tons and tons of books and going to conferences and watching videos and listening to TED Talks and motivational speakers and listening to mentors and coaches and friends who said, you're enough alone. And I rejected it, obviously, because I was empty. Pieces of me I felt were empty, and I I wanted things to fill that void. I wanted, a closet full of clothes and all the latest shoes and all these designer purses. And I felt like if I had the gadgets and the car and the house and the clothes and the shoes and the accessories and all this kind of stuff, then I would finally be happy. But guess what? Here I am today. I still don't have a closet full of clothes like that. I still don't have tons of shoes like that. I still don't have the designer clothes. I don't have the designer purses or accessories. And I'm driving a car that some people may not like, but me and my Toyota are enough. And even if I don't have a Toyota, even when I was on the bus, I was enough. But I didn't beat that into my head enough. So I wish, first and foremost, that I would have understood my value, understood my worth, understood my power, and really knew that I was enough. The next thing I wish I knew, or wish I taught myself, that it's okay to love me first. Oftentimes we watch people, we watch movies, we watch TV, and we always see people putting everything and everyone above them. And then at the end of the day, they have nothing for them. They just have exhaustion and depression and nothing for them. And I believe if you don't know how to love yourself, if you don't love yourself first, then you are not properly loving other people. It's difficult conversation, but it's difficult to have someone say, oh, I love you, but then you don't love yourself. Like, how can you love someone if you don't love the person in the mirror? And it's kind of unfair, and you do them an injustice and you do yourself an injustice, because you're not really loving them. You're kind of using them again to fill a void. But when you love yourself properly, when you love yourself first, then you can pour out into other people. You can pour out into others. You can love people properly. You don't get upset with them as much. You don't want to argue as much. You do start to see things from their point of view first. You pause before you jump at it, jump at something. You learn to pause and have a conversation rather than an argument. When you love yourself first, you take care of yourself. You eat better, you exercise, you take care of your things, you take care of your body. You spend more time with self-care, whatever that means, reading books and whatever self-care is for you. So you learn a self-care routine. You know what you want and what you don't want. You know what your worth is and what it feels like to feel worthless. You know what your value is, and you know when and where you should take you and your value. You know when to pull back. You listen to your energy. You listen to the vibes. You listen to the frequency around you, and you know who and who not to entertain, who and who not to allow into your circle, who to call your friend, who not to call your friend. And you just experience life, I believe, at a totally different level. So definitely love yourself. And last but not least, learn to say no. This was a very hard lesson for me. I often would say yes to things. Yes, I'll help you. Yes, I'll go here. Yes, I'll do that. Yes. And almost killed myself for it. I almost ran myself into the ground saying yes to everyone else. Sometimes I did things that were uncomfortable, that I knew I shouldn't do. I did things that I knew I had no business being at, being in places I had no business being at, interacting with people who didn't feel good to be around, but I said yes anyway, and I suffered for years, saying yes to being around certain people instead of saying no, and agreeing to their energy when it caused me pain. taken on projects from other people, and they wouldn't even say thank you or consider me and what I had to do as long as their project got done. Just so much. So I wish I would have learned earlier to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you, or not even qualify, just say no. It's okay to say no, and it kind of goes back to that. It's okay to love yourself first, because when you do love yourself, you do know what, like I said, you do know what you do want, you do know what you don't want. And a lot of times we say yes to things because we think it's going to make us look better as people. We think it's going to make people like us. Or we have a disease to please, as Oprah Winfrey says. And I forget where I heard this. I think she did an interview with Stafford Business School. It's on YouTube. It's like an hour link. And she said when she made it big, when she became Oprah, she had all sorts of phone calls and people asking her to help with this and that, and pay my rent and pay my bills, and can you help me out of this situation? And because she had a disease to please, she said yes to a lot of things. And then finally she learned to say no, and she ended up telling Stevie Wonder no for something that he wanted. And she said she was afraid that he was gonna stop liking her, and she said he just continued the conversation, said okay, and continued the conversation. And I think a lot of us say yes to certain things because we want to keep friends, or we want to be liked, or we want to be dependent on, but we really should be saying no and taking time out for ourselves, building ourselves up, spending time with our family or our business, or doing the things that we want to do. So it's okay to say no, and I think that goes for people in any age group, but it's wise, I believe, if you learn that early, so you're not spending your later years trying to unlearn decades of programming where you feel obligated to say yes to everyone. I wish I had told some people and their projects and their demands no, because I'm still affected by just not pain, but just I'm still affected by when someone mentions their name. I kind of frown up because I remember how I was treated, but I really can't blame them. I blame myself, because if I had never said yes, I never would have been mistreated the way I was. So to recap, number one, know that you are enough, and that goes for anybody. And I don't have kids, but the day I do, I will start pouring that into them from day one. You are enough. Number two, it's okay to love yourself, and I hope that you grasp that more than anything, because I think that's the glue that connects all of these points together. Even though I have 3, and I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to stop at 3. And then last but not least, learn to say no. It's okay to say yes to you. Lisa Nichols, she's one of my role models, and I'll end with this. She says, learn to say no, so when you say yes, it's powerful, it's meaningful, and you feel it. So say no so you can say yes to you. So I hope that you did learn something. I hope that something was said that helps you. If you have any questions or you need to talk something out, feel free to email me at tempest@atsjr.com. Again, thank you for joining Plant Better University, and we'll see you soon.
Hello everybody, it's me again, and I want to share something with you that I struggle with getting a handle on it, but it's something that I know we all experience, and that is frustration. Frustration comes in all forms, and all of them are negative. We get frustrated when we're struggling with something. We get frustrated when we have to make a decision. We are frustrated when we get annoyed, like standing in line at the grocery store. I get annoyed. We get frustrated when we're irritated with people around us, or at anything. We just get irritated. These are all emotions that we put out when we're frustrated. We actually hold resentment when we get frustrated. We get overwhelmed. When we have a lot of tasks to do, we just get frustrated. We're like, what do we do? And actually, this is the sign of frustration. You just, stuff you've done. I do that. It's like an adult temper tantrum. I know it sucks to say that, but that's exactly what it is. We also get frustrated when we think we are misunderstood. When you're trying to explain something to something and it's not coming out the right, or we say something and somebody else takes it the wrong way, and we get frustrated with that. We also get frustrated with disappointments. It's life. We get a lot of disappointments, but that makes us frustrated. Sometimes I cry when I get frustrated, and it's really not the frustration. It might be just the disappointment. When we get frustrated, it causes confusion, not only in ourselves, but the people that we have around us. And it just creates a bunch of turmoil. Being frustrated makes you feel like you are not in control. Being frustrated makes you feel like you just want to quit. Being frustrated makes you nervous and gives you anxiety. Being frustrated makes you tired and exhausted. You know why? Because it's wasted energy. Why do I know all this? Because I'm a master of being frustrated. I can give you the how and why I get frustrated. Maybe if I show you a little bit of my transparency, you may also look into yourselves and see what things that make you get frustrated. But I have 4 top things that make me frustrated. One of them, and these are all my transparencies. I'm not saying that they're yours, but I'm actually being really transparent. And it's kind of hard for me to say some of the things because it makes me take a look back and it actually sees you, that you see me in a way that I'm not too proud of. Number 1, I get frustrated because I don't read actively and I don't listen actively. The other day I had a toy for my grandson and I ripped it out the box and, I got this. And I was frustrated, and if I would have just went back and read the directions, it would have been just fine, and I wouldn't have went through that hot flash and all that crazy stuff and thinking I forgot a part and this and that, thinking that the batteries, it must be the batteries because it sure wasn't me. Or I don't actively listen to people. Somebody may give me directions or answer a question that I asked, and if it's not the answer that I think I want it to be, I resist them. And I get frustrated, and it's all my fault. It's all my fault. So that was number 2, is that I resist answers to questions. I resist new information. I'm learning how to do something, and then it goes against what I think it should be. In the first place, I shouldn't even ask. So yes, that is all resistance and rejection, and it all goes behind me. I'm the one who's resisting. I'm the one who's rejecting. I'm the one who's not listening. I'm the one who's not reading. And the third one is I have control issues. And I found out recently that I get more frustrated with the people in my life, the people that I love, because those are the ones that I want to control the most. I have a young adult daughter who I get frustrated with because I try to control her. I try to control what she wears. I try to control who she sees and all this kinds of thing. And then I'm just trying to control her. I need to allow her to be who she is, the way she is, and leave it at that. The good news is that I have 7 things that have helped me get a grip on my frustration. Number 1 being the power of pause. Think. Just stop and think. If I would have just stopped and thought and and read the directions and listened to what the directions were telling me, I wouldn't have gone through 20 minutes of trying to figure out the stupid toy. So I wouldn't have. It was adult temper tantrum. So if you use the power of pause, slow down, use the power of pause and think, is this really necessary? This frustration, if all these feelings of being overwhelmed and being annoyed and irritated, is it really worth this energy that I'm giving out? And it is negative energy. Number 2, just do the opposite. If you're getting frustrated because you're not reading the directions, read the directions. If you're getting frustrated because you're trying to control someone, stop controlling them. Do the opposite of being overwhelmed. If you have this to-do list that I'm sure we all do the opposite. Do one thing. Don't try to do all of them. Just do one. Number 3 is just talk it out. Don't vent. Just talk it out. Talk it out. If you're having a conversation with somebody and you're frustrated because they're not getting your viewpoint, listen to their viewpoint. It goes back to actually on the actively listening part. Give somebody the respect that they deserve and listen to them. Talk it out. Another thing, number 4, just step back, step away, regroup, settle down. My favorite thing to do is just have a beer and go back to it later. It seems to all work out after that. Number 5, center yourself. It also kind of goes along with the power of pause, but if you center yourself, deep breath in, deep breath out, close your eyes, just center yourself, regroup, get rid of that bad energy, because that's what this is, very bad energy. Number 6, just be grateful. Just be grateful. If you are frustrated and irritated because you're in the grocery line, be grateful for that moment. Be grateful that you're not driving in traffic. You're just in a grocery store. Be grateful for the person in front of you. Be grateful for the cashier. I know it's tough. If you're in traffic, be grateful that you are in traffic. Be grateful that you have a job that you're just leaving from or you're on your way to. If you have more gratitude and more gratefulness and just enjoy the moment, put in an audio book, play your favorite song. Just get rid of that bad energy from the frustration. And number 7 is look at things from a different angle. If you change the way that you look at something, if you change the way that you look at it, the things that you look at actually change. I may not have all the answers to frustration and why I do it and how to overcome it, but I do know that I'm one step further with these 7 steps. I'm a little less arrogant. And another thing that actually, I did miss one thing, and I skipped over it, but to show my true transparency and why I am frustrated is sometimes I save the worst for last. Is that I think I'm better than other people. I think I can do it better than somebody else. Step back. Let the person do their job. Let them do it their way. Be grateful for them. That was a tough one for me to do, because I'm not better than anybody, and I know people out there have specified knowledge and they can do things much better. I am an equal. I'm not better than anybody, and that was the hardest, toughest lesson that I ever had to learn. So I had to lower myself. I had to do it. You can too. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of great ideas. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of love that you don't need to control them. Be grateful for them. Listen to them. And just be a better person because of it. My name is Michelle, and I hope I helped you a little bit with your frustration. I know I'm still working on mine, but I got a better handle with it. Thank you.